So 56 laps ahead of us then for the Malaysia Grand Prix. And the heat rises, the noise rises, and it's lights out, and away we go. And it's not a bad start from Nico Rosberg, and Sebastian Vettel now moves over to try and cover him. Hamilton is already away, and it's wheel to wheel, Rosberg and Vettel down towards turn 1. Behind them, Kvyat tries to dance around the outside. Vettel maintains second place, and there on the inside, Daniel Ricciardo keeps ahead of his teammates, and just ahead of the Williams of Felipe Massa, who was chopping away. Kvyat on the inside of Ricciardo down at turn 2, looking to make up a place, but he's lost out to Felipe Massa right at the start as they head down the hill and onwards now towards turn 4. The Sauber just ahead of him.
I got a puncture.
I was just about to say Pastor Maldonado has a puncture towards the hairpin, and there is Pastor Maldonado, hit by Valtteri Bottas, and hit quite hard there, Martin Brundle.
Yeah,
and what has happened to Kimi Räikkönen?
Puncture, left rear puncture.
Yeah, you're right. Spot on, Martin. We saw him going very slowly indeed down the straight, and Kimi Räikkönen, who wasn't out of the top 3 in any of the practice sessions, had a dreadful qualifying, not through his own fault, and now
he's going too fast.
Absolute disaster. Well, he's shredding rubber all over the track there as well.
We might get a virtual safety car with that until they can clean that up.
Toro Rosso of Sainz, and then the Sauber that made contact with him. Then it was Marcus Ericsson that made contact with Raikkonen as well. He's staying within that second as we just watched there, going way too late into the first turn and spinning for his troubles as well. Marcus Ericsson, that was a very optimistic moment, and I think that might just have cost him in this race because he looks to have got that car beached. Safety car out here.
16 before their first stop.
And we are racing again, Ted. So let's see how the strategy pans out. Very wide round the final turn was Danny Kvyat there. And behind him, it looks like Max Verstappen is getting quite interested as well, as we look now at Nico Rosberg and Felipe Massa going into the first turn together. Massa on the outside, Rosberg on the inside, but now Massa gets the better line and a decent exit into turn 2. Rosberg trying to push along that Williams, trying to get past that Williams, and failing on that particular moment.
The engine is not giving me any power.
Struggles for Felipe Massa, who's had his diff problems throughout the weekend as well. You can see him going very slowly there indeed as Sergio Perez and then Nico Rosberg come up behind him. And behind Nico Rosberg, it's Max Verstappen in the Toro Rosso down the hill out of turn 3. Perez under huge pressure in the Force India. Verstappen down the inside on Sergio Perez. It's a move that the Mexican would have been proud of himself, I'm sure. And Danny Kvyat nips right in there, past Perez and almost past Verstappen as well. Opportunist, and almost taking 2 drivers in the space of a few hundred metres. Rosberg and Massa now wheel to wheel as Hamilton has a little look on Carlos Sainz on the inside into turn 1. Hamilton moves himself up into 3rd place down at turn 14. Remember the turn that Perez went wide in 2012 when he was challenging Fernando Alonso for the lead that day. Now in a straight drag down towards the hairpin, the Force India gaining on Jenson Button, goes a little bit deep into that hairpin, but Perez is just not close enough behind him, Martin, to take advantage.
Perez gets the DRS this time. Jenson had it last time because he was behind at the detection point, and there's the difference between the horsepower of the Mercedes engine and the Honda engine that's making them struggle at the moment. It must be 100 horsepower or so, but as soon as he got DRS, it was Jenson who had it because he was behind on the way into turn 14. Ricciardo now sitting duck later on in the lap. Look at the dust from both those Red Bulls again. And so that one error between turn 7 and 8 on the next lap, by the beginning of the next lap, it cost him 2 places.
Okay, Fernando, we have a car problem. We're going to have to box this lap. I'm afraid that's going to be the end of our race.
Oh dear, and there down the inside goes Sebastian Vettel on Nico Rosberg. Vettel has been closing rapidly on that Mercedes for the last 2 laps. He has now got ahead of his German compatriot, says Lewis Hamilton. And okay, another big cloud of brake dust from Daniel Ricciardo's Red Bull. Max Verstappen tries to dance around the outside, now can skip lightly through the inside, and Ricciardo had to concede that because Verstappen was in absolutely no mood whatsoever to let the Australian through first.
As we look on this current lap, Vettel's already over 1.5 seconds up again.
The only thing that might just be a silver lining for the Silver Arrows. Oh, they did get very close, didn't they? As well, down the back straight, Hamilton is getting closer. Now they're wheel to wheel. Sebastian Vettel takes the lead. Hamilton dives off into the pits. It really was no contest round that hairpin. Vettel had got the overtake done, and he shoots off into the lead of this race while Lewis Hamilton pits.
I wonder whose decision that was to pit, because Lewis didn't approach that corner. Clearly the team are ready for him. Didn't approach that corner. Normally you can go in a lot deeper if you're coming in the pit lane, and on go the medium compound tyres.
Ted, they're changing their minds.
That was not a quick stop. It wasn't a quick stop, and they have changed their mind. They were driving to the limit of the tyres instead of maximising the performance of their car. It wasn't the right decision. They've got done by Ferrari, and it's now Mercedes' turn to try and turn this race round.
And does run wide in the exit, can't get that move done, and doesn't hold up. Kvyat, and Kvyat just goes straight to the middle, and oh, they've touched! And he spins round, coming into contact with Nico Hülkenberg. What looked like a superbly timed move from Daniel Kvyat has ended in a bit of disaster for the Russian there. But out of the points at the moment on the track, and Sergio Perez is under pressure from Romain Grosjean here, and oh, he's clipped him, and he's spun Romain Grosjean around once and around twice. And Grosjean thought the gap was there, and Perez just moved over and made sure it wasn't. Being consistent on that one, consistently finding against Force India for this moment. Here's Valtteri Bottas. A blue flag being waved there for Max Verstappen, which I'm not quite sure why he was having a blue flag waved for him. And he did rather get out of the way, but then he's fought his way back again with Valtteri Bottas, and he's now really trying to hang on to the place, and that place is 6th place, and Bottas is coming back at him again. And somehow Max Verstappen manages to emerge from that, still ahead of the Williams. But for how much longer, I wondered. Valtteri Bottas now down towards turn 4. He's going to have to go around the outside, and he can't quite do that. Oh, Verstappen's having a feisty afternoon, isn't he, in his second race in Formula 1. But now Bottas, with great traction, coming down the hill, swoops around the outside of Max Verstappen, and he manages to claim that 6th place. Great driving. Now, as through goes Sergio Perez, Sebastian Vettel onto the track. Here comes Nico Rosberg. Into the first turn we go. Sebastian Vettel is ahead of Rosberg. Can Rosberg, though, get him going into either of these two corners? No. Sebastian Vettel, even losing 6/10 to his previous faster stop, has got out ahead of Rosberg, and that absolutely critical for Ferrari and their strategy here this afternoon.
Points to me.
I mean, the fact is he's been... Verstappen taking the long way, bumpy way and uncomfortable way.
Lucky boy.
Into the pit lane, but at least he is still going. Stage last season, and things might be about to be cooling down a bit in Jenson Button's car if he carries on limping around the way that it is at the moment. I wonder, he reported a loss of power. Should McLaren have just brought him in? They can, there he goes. Down the inside, Max Verstappen didn't really need too much of an invitation, but Carlos Sainz left him one.
I think that started as I braked a bit too late here, so he had to translate it into an overtake. I don't think he had any option there. Through, that's for sure.
Well, they definitely haven't called it off, because Bottas is lining up a move here. He's having a go, and he's going to have to go around the outside of his teammate. As into turn 1 we ride, 2 Williams getting very close. Did they touch? They certainly came very close to doing so. Massa stays ahead of Valtteri Bottas by a few inches, under braking, and out of turn 2 now with the power down, dropping down the hill into turn 3. Bottas is still going to go for this one, and he might have a chance down the inside. No, Massa covers that off, and Valtteri Bottas has to stick in 6th place, but he gets a really good traction coming out of turn 4, and he's done this once already in this race. He's done it twice now as they dip down the hill into turn 6. Valtteri Bottas is up from 6th to 5th, and he's passed his teammate.
Degradation. I think Pirelli will start going racier on the tyres as the season unfolds. Will play into Ferrari's hands.
Sebastian Vettel swerving, weaving, dancing to the checkered flag. He wins as a Ferrari driver for the first time in Formula 1. It's his 4th Malaysia Grand Prix victory, and Sebastian Vettel, in his 2nd race for the Scuderia, has rediscovered that winning feeling this afternoon.
Yes, 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 great drive, well done.
Slow switch down. Numero uno is back. Top class. Great drive. Ferrari's back. Ferrari's back.
Fantastico, fantastico. Sei un grande, Seb.
Yes! Sì, ragazzi! Oh, mi senti? Mi senti? Grazie mille, ragazzi. Grazie, grazie, grazie. Dai, forza Ferrari!
Just makes your heart sing when you hear celebrations like that. Youngest point scorer in Formula One, as we see the classification for the top 10, and Toro Rosso outpacing and beating the senior team at Red Bull as Fiat and Ricciardo finished 9th and 10th. Lewis Hamilton's run of converting pole positions into victories ended today in his 150th Grand Prix start, as in his second start for Ferrari. Sebastian Vettel, you get the feeling, really has started something now.
Twice on the podium in 2 races, of course, as well, so he stays well in the hunt in the World Championship. Hamilton will now be 10 ahead of Rosberg, so at least that's a bonus for Hamilton getting beaten today. And you know, the likes of Lewis and Fernando, they were frustrated with Vettel winning all those championships. They just thought he had a car advantage. They didn't rate him. They didn't rate him that he was a 4-time world champion on his own merit. They were convinced it was Adrian Newey that was giving him and the Red Bull team giving him those victories. But he's gone to Ferrari and done it again.
And our next Grand Prix is the Chinese Grand Prix in a fortnight's time, April the 10th to the 12th.